Okay. In Kuf Ein Hey in Arachaim, the Mogen Avram brings Kosav Maharil. Yesh Omrim she'en mevorchim hatov vehametiv belel Pesach. We don't make a bracha hatov vehametiv. So laharbo is bekoises. Ad kan l'shon. Meaning, even though the Maharam Rotenberg, the Tur brought from the Maharam, that's okay. That's not called marba bekoises. Because you don't say Boira Priyagofen, say hatov vehametiv. Still, the Maharil says better not to do hatov vehametiv because it looks like you have arba koises. By doing hatov vehametiv, you're making a choshev koises. Saying hatov vehametiv like you're adding on the arba koises. That's why he says not to make that bracha hatov vehametiv. As I mentioned yesterday, there's some minhag that people don't even say l'chaim during the meal because the l'chaim also makes the drinking choshev. It could be like moisiv. That's why not to do it. So that's what the Maharil says. Even though again it's not mitzad ikar adin, it just shouldn't look like moisiv. So not okay. Then the Mogen Avram says, "Venirali, shelo yishter mebeis minin." Chatchila he says, don't drink from two different type of wines during the Seder. Aval imiviu loy min acher. L'maisa, if somebody brought you another bottle of wine or a cup of wine, says, "Sorich levorech." L'maisa, you should say the bracha hatov. Again, try to stay away from hatov vehametiv. But if it's happened already, you should do it. Why? Me'achash nisker b'gemara lehedia. This bracha hatov vehametiv is muskar b'gemara, to do hatov vehametiv when you have a better wine coming to you, at least not the worst wine. Masha'enken, not to do hatov vehametiv, say them it's such shouldn't look moisef ala koises. It's not brought in a gemara. Memele, when the two collide, and then you do the hatov vehametiv. Try to stay hatov. Okay. I said yesterday, it's Bichlal, all the Seders, especially we have a lot of participants, we have a lot of people, a lot of wine, so bring all the wines on the table. When you have all the wines there, even though you want to switch in the middle to another wine, you're not going to say hatov vehametiv because all the wine is in front of you. Then somebody, Mishalovin, told me yesterday, it's brought in Seder Bircas and then from the Alter Rebbe, he said like this. Kol mokem shmevarech ala hasheni bestam. Ares mevarech ala afilu meviu ala shulchan bevas achas im harishon. Meaning, even the both were at the table. So the Alter Rebbe says clearly, you're still going to say hatov vehametiv. So he's, uberech ala bore priyagofen, and the first one, al das lishtos gam hasheni. You told I'm going to have from the other bottle too. Aval v'gim mevarech hatov vehametiv k'sheyishtem min hasheni. Why? Kevan shem shnei, kevan shu sheni b'shsiyah. Aval im yedua shu gerua mechaveiroi. You know it's worse than when I drank already. V'kvar reviu lo shneim, afilu bezachar ze lo yivarech te'berip ela ala gerua. You can't, it says, the Alter Rebbe says, you can't, let's say you know you have two wines at the table, and one is better, one is worse. You can't say, I'm going to say now boire priyagof on the worst one, then I'm going to say hatov vehametiv on a better one, just to make bracha. That's a sense you cannot do. Because you have to do bracha on the better one. Bracha rishon boire priyagofen. So the chatchila can't be this. According to the Alter Rebbe also, the eitzah I gave the yesterday to have all the wines on the table, it works even according to the Alter Rebbe. Why? Because the chatchila, if you have two wines, one is better, you should do your bracha gefen on the good one. The mele is not shaykh hatov vehametiv on the second one. Only b'di'evad, if you did b'di'evad bracha by mistake on the worst wine, then you're going to still do hatov, even that's lefonah. That's according to Alter Rebbe. Now, the halal, the sugya is not possible. I'm going to go quickly over it. We see the Alter Rebbe follows the Bach over here. That's what he follows, Lamaisa, the Bach. So like this. The Mechaber says like this. I'll start with the tour. I didn't want to go to halachas of hatov vehametiv, but I had to with that question he showed me. I had to go through it. So it's like this. It says in the tour, "Viulam yain acher in kuf ayin neim mevorchina hatov vehametiv. V'lav davke viulam atom mechodosh elahu adinim oilam betchilo shnei minei yoinos mevorchim al hasheni hatov vehametiv." L'chor mashma the tour saying exactly what the Alter Rebbe. I have to say a bach. I can say a tour. It's not though. I'll tell you in a minute why not. So in this, the Beis Yosef says on the tour, the Beis Yosef says like this: Umashakosov Rabbeinu goes on the two. V'lav davke v'yu loem mechodesh elu adin imo hoyo lo tchila shne min hayeinos ken kosov arav manoyach. That's the matter of manoyach. Even you have two of the yeinos in front of you, you're going to say on one Bore Priyagofen, one you're going to say Teva Meishu. Now the question is, how did you get to do that? If the one is better, you have to say bracha on the better one. If you said bracha on the better one, how could you say bracha on the worst one? So he doesn't answer this. But then he brings Avala Mordechai Kosa, brings the Mordechai. He says, B'Shem Avi Ezri, She'im evi lo yain ra, v'yain tov ke'echod, she'esh levarech miyad b'ere ala yain atov. U'poiter es ra, v'lo yivarech ala ra tchila b'ere pregdel varech achar v'atov v'ametiv k'del harbes b'vroches. Ki l'oilam es levarech ala iker v'ala choviv tchila. Okay. So it looks like from the Beis Yosef, it's a machlokes between Rav Manoyach and the Mordechai. If you have two wines in front of you, and one is better, one is worse, mashma from Rav Manoyach, you could do bracha on the worst one, just in order to bring yourself to say Tova Ametiv on the better one later. And the Mordechai says, no, you have to make bracha on the good one. Okay, that's like mashma l'choira from the Beis Yosef. Now, the Bach says a different teretz. The Bach says a teretz, lechatchila you should do like the Mordechai, that says bracha on a gefen on the better one, then be, and you don't have to say Tova Ametiv for that, in case you made a mistake. Or even whatever, you didn't know the halacha. You said bracha, a gefen, on the worst one, then you could say a tova ametiv, and that's the pshat. I think that's what the Alter Rebbe follows, the Bach's shita. It says you should do bracha, a gefen, on the better one. Then you don't have to do a tova ametiv, more in front of you. In case you made by mistake or you did not know, you made a bracha on the worst one, then you do a tova, even they were both in front of you. That's according to Bach. Now, the Ramo says a different teretz. The Ramo says. He brings what he quotes Beis Yosef brings both shittas. They say Yashav. The Rabbeinu lo komer el kshloyu biyachad k'shebirach boire pri hagofen. The two when he says hoyu lefon of doesn't mean hoyu biyachad. Aval hoyu biyachad moidel edivrei Mordechai. According to the Ramah, the Darcha Moshe over here, says when he says when the Tur says meaning not at the table, meaning in the house. If you in front of him, he says you don't make two brachas. So that's how the Ramah on the pshat. So it's no machlok between Rav Noach and the Mordechai according to him, because Rav Noach says when the two yenis was in the house, was one at the table, so you do one, then a gefen and a tova ametiv. And the Mordechai says when they both in front of you at the table. That's the word the table changes the whole thing of it, and that's how the now what forced the Ramah to learn that even the Shulchan Aruch learns pshat like this. According to him, it's not even the Mechaber understands it, because in Shulchan Aruch, when the Mechaber brought this halachas in Kuf Ayin Hey in Shulchan Aruch, the Mechaber an halacha he contradicts it with the halacha Aleph and Gimel. It says like this. In halacha Aleph he says, "Lav davke eviu lohem mechodosh elo hu adin hoyolom mitchila beis yenos." Then say Shulchan hoyolom mitchila beis yenos mevorchim al hasheni hatoy va'ametiv. The Ramah adds over there, but davke shelo hoyu lefon of yachad, meaning it was in the house, it was not on the table together. K'shibirach boire pri hagofen, and v'lemoyu b'yachad, elo zolevach boire pri hagofen. K'mo she'yisbor. You said elo boire pri, meaning on the first one, and that's it. You part of the second one. Now, what forced him to say? Because in Halacha Gimel, it says in the Mechaber says, "Yivi lo yain rav yain tov ke'echad, yivorach miyad boire pri hagofen ala tov." Who pointer a sarah clearly. So how could it be then the other scenario that you have two yainas, you're going to say tova ametiv. If you have two yainas, you're going to say on a good, on a better one, you say boire pri hagofen, and you don't do any more tova ametiv. Yeah, kilo olam es levarach ala iker v'ala choviv tchila memela. So because that what Ramah forced to learn pshat in Shulchan Aruch, they attack. The first scenario of the tour when they brought, and then Shulchan Aruch also followed this tour. The two yainas, meaning in the house, two yainas. But on the table was one wine. Then when you bring the other yain from the house to the table, you say hatova ametiv. But if both of them were at the table at the same time, you're going to say on the better one, and you don't have to do bracha on the good one. Like I said, the Alter Rebbe probably followed the Bach, that even the word at the table now. So Lamaisa, most poskim, that's how the Levush brings it. That's how the Eliyah Rabbah understand. Most poskim, the Mishnah Berurah, that's how they understand the halacha. That's how it was at the table. You don't say if the both were at the table. You don't say hatov vehametiv if they were there. Now it even goes further. The Lechem Chamuda says even if when you had in the house, he says a wine, you know it's there. You're not going to say hatov vehametiv on it. It's not anymore a chiddush. That's what he brings over here. So Lamaisa, here's Lamaisa. Lamaisa is like this. So if somebody wants if that was first of all, we don't have Kuf Ayin from the Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch. So I don't know if what the Alter Rebbe wrote over here it's Mishnah Acharoina, but even that's Mishnah Acharoina. That's how we paskin. If the two were at the table, you should lachatchila say bracha and the better one not say bracha hatov on the Seder. Okay, you made a mistake like the box says. Then you made a bracha on the worst one, boira priagov, and then later on you're gonna switch. You're gonna say hatov vehametiv on the better one. But Lamaisa, the Kaf HaChaim says that since most poskim saying in such a scenario you don't say hatov vehametiv, when he says the sofek broches lahokel, he says Mimele, he says in such a scenario you should not do brocha hatov vehametiv. So against so according to most Ashkenazim would be. By the way, the Taz is a very different shita has on this whole thing. The Taz holds the halacha. Even you have two wines in front of you, and there's a one better, one worse. He says, Adarabba, in such a case, you should make bracha on the worst one first, just to cause a bracha, hatov vehametiv later on. But that's the Yochid Bazeh. Most don't agree with the Taz on this one. So Lamaisa, like I said, the Kaf HaChaim, he says Lamaisa. The Meister says since so broke he's well can you recommend the splukt but the come so grokas local kol sho yishnem ala shulchan v'shas boire pri agofen o shezmino mekoidem brocha lavim l'shulchan afiru berach al geru tchila and levarach oid hatov vehametiv. So all I'm saying is it's very complex halacha hatov vehametiv. So in order to avoid it, so two things you could do: either stick to one wine, and that's according to the Alter Rebbe would be, and that's a notion to Mogen Avraham also. Because there's another reason why the Alter Rebbe followed this, because the Mogen Avraham says, when you're a solution of based minin, don't drink from two different wines. It says either stack to one wine, or according to everybody else, if you bring all of them at the table, says the first bracha say on the better one, then you could switch to other ones, and then you don't say the bracha hatov vehametiv. Avram Meir, yeah. Okay.